Um,
Good morning.
Good morning. Just a minute. Okay. Welcome to this webinar series at Faculty of Management Studies, Parul University. Sapna Madam, my voice is audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Please
okay,
go ahead.
thank you. Okay, thank you. So, welcome you, sir, at this webinar series on career opportunities after MBA. Undeniably, awesome ways an MBA can change your life. So, today's webinar that we have kept for not only for specifically general MBA students, but we can say that based on experience of sir, it would be a 360-degree learning approach for management students. I would like to give a brief introduction about Hemang Mehta sir. He is the International Business Development Manager, expertise in area of global business expansion with hands-on experience in culture and economic affairs. I would like to give a brief overview about Sir because Sir is having a exhaustive experience in a diverse field, strategic business development specialist with over 25 years of cross-culture experience in sales and marketing. Apart from that, Sir is having experience in area of healthcare and pharma as well to handle various new business avenues and meeting potential clients, decision makers, doctors, and hospitals for business expansion. Proficient in using knowledge of the market and competitors and developing companies' unique selling propositions. Apart from that, Sir is professional courses on MDP on basic leadership skill, training course on safety aspects in the research application. Sir completed his BE in biomedical and master's in marketing management from Nasi Munji. Sir is having expertise in area of strategic planning, market competitive analysis, business network, vendor management, costing and budgeting, training and development, and conflict management. And sir is currently as a visiting faculty at SP Jain University, SP Jain at for online sessions in pharmaceutical. Apart from that, also teaching students for in integrated program of marketing and pharma marketing. So I think looking to the expertise of sir, it seems that students can learn so many things, not only in area of pharma healthcare, but in international business, in a marketing, in a finance, cost and budgeting, every dimension. I think students can gain opportunity to learn from sir. So, sir, I would like to hand over the stage to you, and you can share your expertise, and you can just share to our students that whatever special
Sure.
they are going to choose, it's not only that they will have to knowledge of that specialization, because after 5 to 10 years they should have a 360-degree approach. Thank you so much. And Sapna madam is coordinating for this entire event for this webinar. So after this your session, students will raise queries, any questions in their mind. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. So can I
Thank
start?
you, Bijal ma'am. Yes, yes, sure, sir. Let me welcome all the participants on Facebook and Google Meet, and thank you, sir, for sparing your time here. Thank you, Bijal ma'am, for giving a very nice introduction of our resource persons today, Mr. Hemang Mehta. So I would like to hand over the session to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Bijal, first of all, for that generous introduction. That was quite exhaustive. Thank you, Sapna, ma'am, Dr. Sapna, for the kind invitation. And it's really a privilege to address the students of the esteemed Parul University. And essentially, our topic today will be on career opportunities after MBA, and some awesome ways how an MBA will change your life. And my name is Hemang Mehta. I have written down my coordinates. So even if I cannot answer all the questions and somebody wants to remain and connect, you can do so on my email ID. My LinkedIn reference is also given, and my mobile is also there for your reference. So I go to the next slide. Since Dr. Bijal has already given my introduction, I will not spare much more time on this, but I have about 25, 26 years of experience in sales and marketing. Currently, I'm visiting faculty at SPJ and NMIMS, and I'm also a consultant in business development for an IIT company. It's not an IIT company, but started by 3 IITians. into video analytics, and which uses artificial intelligence as the platform. And done my master's in marketing management from NMIMS and BE from Tharumal Shani. So I've always been a Mumbaikar, and I specialized in nuclear medicine. So let's go ahead with today's topic, and let's start with the W's. These W's are very important, and they have been written in a very specific order. First of the thing is, why are we here? Now, this why component is very important, whether you are in MBA or anything in general in life. I mean, if your why is very clear, then the remaining W's like where, what, and other things like how, they can all follow. Let me give you a very simple example to make this thing very clear, about the why. Now, let's say if I tell you to dig, a ground 10 feet by 10 feet and go 10 feet deep, would you do it? I mean, that's a typical question. I mean, why would you do it? But if I told you that, if you dig this 10 feet by 10 feet area and, below 10 feet, there are about, some diamonds and all lying over there, which will change your entire life, and, your next 7 generations are secured. Will you do it? Yes. I mean, so your why is very clear on that. So once you know that, and then you come to know where are we. So you are at the crossroads, as shown in the figure, that you have a couple of directions where you can go. Somebody might choose a different profession. Or you can be doing a specialization in a particular course in MBA. And so that's, when you come to know where are we heading towards. Is that correct? All right. So MBA full form, most of you would be aware by now, since you have already chosen this profession. So which is Masters in Business and Administration. They are known under various names like PGDBM, which is a postgraduate diploma in business and administration, which is offered by some autonomous institutes like IIM Ahmedabad and other IIMs. Then you have part-time courses like Masters in Marketing Management, more known as MMM. Then you have MFM, which is Finance Management. And then you have an executive MBA, which is normally done after a couple of years of experience for more senior professionals, 5 to 10 years or even more. So that's the general thing about MBA and its full form. And now we come to what do you need to master? Essentially, when you do an MBA, there is no certain endpoint in the mind, certain goal. So one of the things which you will need to master over here, and which will be obviously taught in your other subjects also, is communication skills. Now, if you look at communication skills, 70% of your communication which you do, see, on communication skills and on all these things which I am talking, we can take one lecture each or probably even an entire day. But in brief, 70% of your skill is non-verbal, wherein, your tone of voice, your modulation, the various kinds of gestures you do, they all communicate certain things. I mean, if you are speaking to somebody and just yawning or nodding and not looking at the person, then it conveys something else vis-a-vis, if you're deeply engrossed. So all those things, they reflect on your personality, on what kind of communications are you trying to give across. You can't be showing an angry face and talk a polite language, correct? So you have to also master your interpersonal skills. Leadership is something which each and every one of us should have that trait. Leading is not like just managing or just a title. And I will refer some books also throughout my presentation, which I would urge each one of you to, go through it at some stage of your life. If you go through The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, or a couple of other books like Lead Without a Title. So all those things will definitely help you that, to lead somebody, you don't have to have a very, a personalized visiting card with some, very fancy names. But of course, they also are a part of it, part and parcel. your professional skills, and more importantly, how you analyze. When you analyze certain things, it's not only about mathematics or science, but no, you also strategize. If there are various ways of looking at those particular things, handling deadlines. As soon as you start your career now, you'll be given a lot of assignments, a lot of things to do, a lot of deliverables. So handling that stress, because 24/7 is a fixed for everyone, for you, me, anyone in this planet Earth. So, timelines is something which you'll need to master. You have to respect others' times, and so many things which you'll come across. And one more very important thing is cross-cultural management. Now, as the world is getting smaller and smaller in terms of reachability, by ways of communication, and students are going across the globe. Different people, students, they come from across the globe, even to Parul University, to other universities. They come and work in India. We go and do our work over there. So managing, it may not be knowing the complete culture about that country or about that particular region, but having some small frames or some small sentences which you can communicate with them. Understanding their food habits, their ways of living. More general, you have to be more sensitive to the different kinds of culture. So, which is something we'll need to master. And of course, by the end of this course, when you do so, when you start working, all those things will come. But this is something which you'll have to always keep in mind. Now, the question: why did I take up MBA? I mean, just because somebody told you. We have seen this movie Three Idiots, and there are some students over there, who are heroes, and they want to do something. So, was it because of that? Somebody in the family told that but you have to do this MBA. So, but then you have to understand, once you are there in this field. The idea is to understand the macro and the micro issues of business, go into the smaller intricacies, understand a broader perspective, which is mentioned over here, get newer perspectives. So there is not always, one way to do anything. A very simple example, if you look at 9, number 9. So if I look at from my side, it looks 9, but from the opposite end, it will look like a 6. So, there are always different ways of handling a particular situation, a particular job, and many other things. So, getting your perspectives is one of the reasons you did take up MBA, to get more confidence. Once you are more, sort of reading things, reading books, learning about cultures. So all that, gives you that confidence and that smartness, because you are well versed with a lot of topics. Negotiating skills, if you are planning to be particularly into sales, or even in other streams, if you decide to choose, negotiation is something which is very important. At what stage you have to drop. Ideally, if you have to sell something, if you have to sell the best thing at zero price, then you and I are not required. MBA is not required. So, what you have to learn about this particular MBA for all the streams is, negotiating, how to talk with people, people management within the organization, within your team, across, both internal people and outside the organization. So that's the reason, each one of us, we decided to take up an MBA course. Now, let us go to some of the top specializations in India. These are not in particular order, but when I was there, way back in 1990s, so we had only 3 options. The other ones were there, but they were not, in the limelight. Anybody from these first 3 specializations like finance, marketing, or a little lesser so in the human resource management. These are the only 3 streams available mainly. It's not that it were not available, but then as time flew, international business, a more focused approach came into the picture. Then, you have rural management as a very specialized area, because the skill sets required, and the understanding of rural areas is quite different from a general marketing or a general management. Now, business analytics, and even in business analytics, you have various other streams, like, you go to HR analytics, finance analytics, so many things. Also coming up is supply chain, agribusiness management, and of late, entrepreneurship and family managed business is gaining prominence, and so is healthcare. There are so many specialized courses now, offering MBA, of course, into healthcare management, wherein you learn to deal with how patients come in, or how is a hospital working environment. So these are all more of the niche areas. But the top three, they always the gold standards. They will always remain, as the base is finance, marketing, and human resource management. I mean, they are the ones that from this all these offshoots have as specialized areas have come up. So we will look at three of them. If you do masters in finance, so the essential idea is a student understands how economic works and how wealth is generated. So for this, what the students need to have is comfort with numbers, and routine, good mathematics, good accounting, a good analysis structure, analytical mind, paying attention to the minutest of details, because with numbers, one number here or there, or a multiplication or a division here and there, your entire effort can go haywire. So what you need essentially over here is a zero error documentation, as close to zero. I mean, it can never be zero, but try to come across, at least on paper, it should look zero, and it should be authentic. When I say, there are some errors or which can always creep in, but then they have to be logical errors. I mean, it can't be just, something, whatever you feel comfort and, try to get that answer for that. So, these are the things which you'll have to keep in mind for finance. Some of the careers, you can have, once you have done with your MBA. Of course, you can do a double specialization. If you have done finance, you can go for marketing. You can do finance and HR. You can also opt for PhD. But then, if you choose to remain an MBA after this, one of the areas where you can have is retail or investment banking or any other banking system. Finance finds a big entry into the management consultancy, into insurance. As a financial analyst, so many things, all these things can come handy. The thing is that you have to be aware that so many options are available. It could be also into compliance and risk. And we'll see a typical growth chart. If you choose to do finance, probably, you could start with a management trainee. I have taken only, a certain line. So it's more of a generalized one. Depending on which sector you are, which organization you are working, these titles and stuff can keep on changing, because all these are morely loosely the held terms. So an area manager or a finance manager in one company, or an assistant manager in a different company, they could be different in the terms that what is the volume of business, or what is the amount of work is being handled. So, you could probably start with a management trainee, and as you grow forward, you could go and become an assistant finance manager. Then as you go further, you become a finance manager. Then there will be various verticals within a large MNC, even Indian MNCs. So where you could probably become the finance head of one particular vertical, let's say water, water or waste management. So you could be a finance head for the waste management. Or in another company, there may be about 10 different verticals. So you'll have 10 different finance heads. And then finally, you become the overall leader as a chief financial officer. All right. So that is a progression which you can look once you have done with your MBA in finance. MBA in marketing. So over here, what we need to know is to understand the customer likes and dislikes. See, earlier, what everybody used to do is produce something, a product on mass scale, and it was just pushed or dumped sort of thing to the customers. But these days, the customers are getting, more traction, more information sitting at their homes, and they have become more intelligent than ever before. So each one of the customer will have a different kind of need. So what we as a marketing person need to have is some creative thinking. And people, generally who are going to opt for sales, I would say go for no. This is a book by Andrea Waltz. And again, over here, I will share one small thing from that book. Now, what do I mean go for no? So the essence of this is, if you fall down 10 times, get up the 11th time. See, there was one large aquarium inside a house, and there was one fish inside, and the fish was relatively intelligent. And the experiment goes like this. So some food was kept at the opposite corner, and the fish could smell and go towards that the food which was kept inside. Now, what the experiment did was, it was a large aquarium. So one transparent glass, was put inside, and the fish, when it was trying to swim towards that, it got banged against that transparent wall, and it had to come back. So no food. The second day, again, the same thing repeated, and it was done about 8 to 9 times. Then on the 10th day, that transparent glass was removed, and the food was still kept there. Now, what did the fish do? It gave up. It assumed that, there is always going to be some barrier in between, which I'm not able to see. And therefore, I will not be able to reach my goal, that is to eat the food. So, these things will come, more often in the life of a salesperson, getting to handle rejections. And a lot of people will keep on saying no. You whatever you might say, no, you'll get a no for an answer. But try 9 times. Even if you get an answer as no for the 9th time, don't give up. It could be, you could be just that one step away. So, go for that. Go for this particular book by Andrea Waltz, and change your life. Analytical skills is something which all of us need to have, but particularly for a marketing guy, these will be more important. So it's again, a fine balance of the various kinds of skills. Over here, it's not that you don't need number skills, but to a lesser extent. When you are going to have your sales forecast, your marketing forecast, budgeting, all those things. So I'm assuming, like each and every course in MBA. So there'll be some things, which will be touched upon in each and every stream, be it, basic finance, basic marketing, but then you are more specialized towards these analytical skills. Okay, going ahead. So what could be the possible career options for you? Could be a marketing or a product manager if you decide to be into hardcore marketing. Digital marketing is coming into prominence these days. You could have a career in sales. Now, sales, it could be, you could start from possibly an area manager or a sales executive, then go towards a regional manager, national sales manager, or an international sales manager, so on and so forth. So same will apply even to the product category or the marketing. Advertising, is a subset. So, when you look at all these other aspects, sales, advertisement, branding, all those things, they are under the umbrella of marketing. So these are all sort of subsets under this umbrella of marketing. You could possibly be into corporate sales, where you will be handling large accounts. You will be handling key opinion leaders, particularly if you are in pharma or medical device sale. You could have a career in channel management. When you say about channel management, it could be handling various outlets where you do your primary sale. Your primary contact would be all these retailers, and not the offshoot which takes place. Nevertheless, you have to keep an eye that your products, they finally reach out to the end user, that is customers like us. Because if you don't have a secondary kind of sale, then the primary sale, it can be there for some time. But at a later date, you might find yourself in a position where there are goods being returned. You are not able to sell more, and then finally sort of frustration creeps in. So you need to be aware of such things. But these are some of the multiple options which you can have as your career if you choose to do marketing. Now, when you certain looking at a time frame or a time horizon, where if you once you pass out from specializing as a marketing person, again, possibly you could start as a management trainee. Going forward, you can become an assistant marketing manager, or if you're handling only one product, then it could be as a product manager. Then you go further in your career, you become a marketing manager or a regional manager in sales. Now, when you say of assistant marketing, so an assistant marketing or a product manager could be looking at a pan-India scenario. So over here, what we are looking at is the kind of geography which you are handling and the volume of business. So it is not that somebody handling a pan-India role is much more superior than somebody handling, say, a state of Maharashtra. See, in state of Maharashtra, your volume of business could be large. So, over here, probably you might have to have more of people management skills. When you do your, as an assistant manager or a product manager, handling of the products, the product life cycle, launching of products, all these things become more important. Participating in conferences, where to target your product, whom to speak. So all those things are the key traits required. So it's not that an assistant marketing manager or product manager, vis-a-vis a regional manager or a person who is handling sales into a particular state or a particular geography. They are different, but they are similar. In terms of the eyes in the organization. Then you can become a marketing manager. You become a chief marketing manager, and finally there is a possibility that you will also land up as a chief executive officer. Just for your information, if you want to become a CEO or come to a very senior post in a large organization, how many books do on an average a chief executive officer reads, or somebody at the top level. It could be from finance, HR, anybody. Roughly about 150 to 200 books in a year. So, what I'm trying to emphasize is, though I'm on the sales and marketing slides, it is also applicable to everyone, in the other domains as well, be it finance, be it international business management, be it HR, be it health management. Keep the habit of reading, read. Whenever you get time. You don't have to read one entire book in one go. Develop that habit. Read 5 pages, 10 pages, then go on after 1 month to reading, probably one full chapter. Then, you can start completing your book in 1 week. So even if you start completing one book, reading just one book, in 1 week, within 1 year, how many books you would have read? 50 at least, correct? Developing that habit, your chances of knowing what is there in the world, and more importantly, learning that how much less you know till date, that will become much more clearer. So does it make sense? So start reading from today. Most of you might have already started. Not only your books, your course and everything is important. Your subjects, you have to pass your exam, you have to do everything, but keep a habit of cultivating on reading various kinds. And don't read. See, if you are going to be in finance, you could have a ratio. You read 50% on finance and 50% on something else. But do read on something else also. That is what I'm trying to emphasize. Now you come to masters in human resources. Earlier, this human resources was never given sort of a prominence, which is it is given now. Mainly their functions were, writing checks, or it was more of, an administrative work, keeping the attendance of the people. So, but then as time evolved, the work became more complex. The world started shrinking. People have started having access to more information. And these days, the demands of an employee have started changing. Earlier, people used to work, they never knew what a different organization was. If they started with organization A, then their last day in any organization was still that, company A. But these days, people are changing and, at a very rapid pace. So a couple of years back, people used to hang around in a good organization for, let's say, 10 years, then it became 5. So human resources has started becoming much, 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 much more important than anything else. I mean, keeping the right people, selection of them, keeping them at the right place, at the right time in the organization, job rotation, all those things, started coming into prominence. Because if you have to hire a new person for that same role, it could be probably 5 to 10 times more costlier than keeping that same person. So for that, what you have to do, I mean, you have to keep that person motivated, keep that person engaged all the time, learn their requirements, their needs, what is there. I mean, everybody is not probably motivated or excited only by money. Of course, money is a big motivating factor, but then giving a larger role, and compensated with an equal amount of money. So over here, learning the psychology, the basic human psychology for a human resource guy is very important. Assessing that skills, who is the right person, who will be the one who can fit into this role, who will be a part of our kind of culture which we are into, whether the person we are hiring is the right fit for the company. All those things, they become very important. And a big empathizer. When I say empathy, I mean, it's, in simple words, if I can say, it is putting yourself into the shoes of others. So look at from the perspective of the person. What is his requirement? I mean, why are they acting in a certain way? I mean, till yesterday, the person was quite good. And then suddenly what happened? So, you have to dig in deep and find out the real reason. So MBA is becoming, in human resources, becoming very important and very important, chain into the entire organization. Give me a minute. So when you look at various kinds of careers which a human resource person can have, is one of them is recruitment. As I mentioned, which are the people you need to hire, what are the skill sets required in a media industry versus the requirements in a healthcare industry versus a requirement in healthcare, or so this person becomes a key because they also have to have some knowledge about marketing, some knowledge about finance. So again, this person in that key position, when you have to recruit for an organization, I mean, you don't recruit only for sales or only for product management. I mean, you recruit for finance, you recruit for other HR divisions. So you need to have a knowledge, a basic knowledge about the various kinds of products or the various kinds of services and what are the skills which they have to match in the person they are going to hire or recruit. So, that becomes very important. So when you do an MBA, I mean, don't just look MBA as, only in finance or only in HR. I keep on reiterating because, many a times it's very difficult to get sway away that, okay, I've done HR, so, I don't need to have any knowledge about marketing or, being people sensitive, or I don't have to worry about numbers. So yes, there are different ways, different proportions in which the skill sets are required. Training and development. As I mentioned about motivation, Training and if you give a proper training to a person, definitely they'll be becoming more motivated and more raring to go. I mean, vis-a-vis, if you just left that person alone, but tell them just go to Google and start learning, or so it becomes very difficult. So training has become a very important aspect. Teaching on soft skills, teaching of various other skill sets which are required for a particular job, employee management, payroll. Payroll, of course, it's ever going to remain. Again, in payroll management, people have started working with a variable pay structure. So, what is going to be the variable component into that? What should be the component? What are the industry standards? And again, like I mentioned in finance, there are now HR business partners. If a large company, they have various verticals. So each and every vertical, will be a separate, business and a cost center. So for each and every business requirement, there will be a HR business partner, who will be taking off that particular business. And then if you are working in a manufacturing industry, so you'll have to deal with a lot of people, unskilled labor. So that becomes a very critical area, because the way they talk, their requirements, now union and all those things are becoming very less. But especially in government sectors, or as I mentioned in the market, in the manufacturing industry, labor management is a very critical component which needs to be handled with care. So your career could be in that as well. Now, career progression in human resource, probably you would start with a team leader, and so going forward, you become probably assistant HR manager. Then you become a senior human resource manager, and then you become an HR business partner, HR business head of that particular division. And then finally, become a director of that company into human resources. You could also be handling probably Southeast Asia or South Asia, or if it's a global company, then there could be relocation into other areas as well. So again, when you are shifted to another geography, the cultural aspects, see, the slides are put into a logical order. That you don't just become when you look at a HR's role, or a marketing person's role, sales guy's role, finance role. I mean, you don't look at it as an individual thing. That if you are in Mumbai or Baroda or Delhi or Chennai, wherever you are, that you are restricted only to that location. So culture and all those things, why you have to learn and what you will learn, basically, and the skills which you have to develop. If you have to grow as the career path which I have shown, all those things, the key skills will be required every time. So keep that in mind. So I'm assuming, everybody knows what an iceberg is. So I will not explain what an iceberg is, but success is an iceberg. It's an illusion which people see in you. So what will people see in you? That, you are a very successful person. You have such a lavish lifestyle, working in a great organization, or, as an entrepreneur, you have started your own business. You are recruiting people on your own for your company. So this is what, people will see. But what people will not see is, your dedication, the goal or the vision which you have set for yourself. So the dedication which it will not be available. See, on the iceberg, it's only a tip. When we say tip of the iceberg, so that is what is visible to us or people around. But the iceberg is a lot more, inside the sea. So people will not see your hard work, which you have put in so far. These 2 years of grueling, day in, day out work, good habits. So over here, unfortunately, it shows, waking up at 7 a.m. But if you read again, Robin Sharma's book, The 5 a.m. Club, so start developing that habit. I mean, it's not that you have to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, but CEOs and people at the top, they have this particular habit of getting up early, getting up before anybody else does. So you have much more, peaceful time for yourself first before you start, digging and start having a very grueling day. There will be a lot of disappointments which will be there for you, which will be probably only known to you or to your, people whom you work with or within your family. The kind of sacrifices which you have done. You have given up good habits, many of these things. Many a times, there would have been failures. I mean, when I say failures, it is not only, I'm not referring to the subject, but in general, you could have possibly, sometimes not met a deadline, or things did not go according to your wish, or according to the standard set by yourself, or standard set by the company, or standard set by the institute. And the kind of persistence which you have given. Again, going back to the example, if you fall down 10 times, make sure you get up the 11th time. So which is persistence. Keep on doing. Even if you fail, keep on doing. One day, definitely you will see the tip of the iceberg, which is your success. And that is something which you'll see once you, fairly complete your MBA and specialize in that. Now, your MBA journey. I'm excited, initially. That's what you feel. Even when I did my MBA, a lot of people told me that, to get inside an MBA course, that's the toughest thing. You have to give an entrance exam, you have to give a group discussion, then there is a personal interview. There are thousands of people coming, and, it's very difficult to get in reputed institutes, and especially Parul University. So, you might now wonder that since I've got an admission into this MBA course, and I'm very excited. Probably, after a couple of weeks, you'll see that, there's so much different than what you had thought, or what people told you about an MBA. So, even when I was there, people told me that once you are there, passing is very easy. But then I realized that, oh, no, it's really tough here. So I thought, whether I have taken the right decision or no. After a couple of weeks, I said, yeah, fine, that seems to be okay. I've got into the groove. I know what it takes. I have to realign myself. And somehow, after a couple of weeks again, I again thought, I goofed up. I should have taken something else. And after some time, I again started. I'm sure this will be a part of your journey too. Maybe in a different way, but some or more, it will be some similar things. And then finally you decide that, okay, enough, I'm now mentally tough. And the reason why I took up, I wanted to give up the good to achieve the great. That is what my goal was. And that's why I've taken up MBA. And this is a part of my journey. Again, you might think, oh, no, I was wrong. But finally, believe me, after 2 years, you will always say, oh, I took the right decision and I'm definitely awesome. Okay. So that's your journey, which you have to remember. Now, what does an MBA offer? MBA probably, this profession is one global profession. You could fit in anywhere. It will help, in fulfilling your career dreams, like a good job. And I'm sure, everybody is looking that, that I be placed in a very good company. That is a prestige issue. That, okay, this is the package which I got. This is a high position in the company I got. I start as a management trainee in XYZ company. So this program, which not only focuses on the domain, but also focuses on the self-development skills. And that is the precise reason what makes an MBA professional stand out in the crowd. So, a lot of things which MBA has to offer, but you have to be persistent, consistent, and, be always willing to give your best. We'll see a couple of more slides. So, a successful MBA, needs to know the following skills. We have touched upon most of them, but ethics is something which is very important. And again, on ethics, we could probably go on and on. But in very simple words, if I can explain, it is, you have to do the right things even when nobody is observing. It's like simple things like giving bribe to somebody. So if you think that nobody is going to be aware and therefore it is okay to do so. See, many of these companies, and especially the large MNCs, US companies, they have something called as an FCPA, which is the Foreign Anti-Corruption Act, which you have to complete a module every year. So even if you are going to gift somebody, what is the amount of gifting you can give? What is the amount of airfare which you can spend on a particular person. So all those things, they all come under ethics. Having a proper knowledge, the different skill sets which you have already come across, and the right kind of attitude. And there is, I can hardly stress more on the communication skills. I mean, if your communication loop is not complete, whatever you want to say, it has not been received in the same fashion as you intended to give that particular person or that particular group, then your communication is not complete. Constantly take feedbacks, and there will be a lot of noise in between, which you'll definitely learn in your course, on communication skills. So communications is something which you'll have to always keep in mind, and especially your non-verbal communication, which is almost about 70% of that. Only about 30% is written, spoken, and different types of communications one. But non-verbal is something which you have to always keep a watch for. Now, what do the companies look in a fresher? They look for long-term commitment, enthusiasm, people with go and do attitude, leadership skills. You have to fit into their business model. When I say the business model is, it is more relating to the culture. Tatas, they will have a certain kind of culture. So, if you are going to apply for Tata, be it TCS or anything of that sort, what they will look out for is the traits, which a general person from a Tata company would be known as, or these are the skill sets which are required. So their entire business model is revolving around, their image. So, that is, if you're fitting into that, that is the first thing which a company will see for, and that's the role of an HR guy. And the business guy who is going to be hiring them. If you have prior experience in internship, it can be an advantage. It's not a mandatory thing, but if you have something like that, it's always a welcome thing to see in your CV. It could be a short 1 month assignment. It could be like working with an NGO. I mean, if you are going to do finance, you don't have to work only in the finance. I mean, if you worked in an NGO sort of thing for 1 month, good. I mean, or if you attended a course on sharpening your presentation and soft skills, that could also be good. Or work work for 1 month as an intern in an organization, big, small. But it shows your commitment that you are going out of your comfort zone and trying to get more knowledge acquired for yourself. And generally, recognized institution students are preferred for a better placement, and Parole fits in them. And yes, I mean, a very good organization, a very good institute, which you have selected and been chosen to. So, do well in that. Top companies hiring MBA freshers globally. I mean, see, it's just a small list which I've made. I mean, whatever came to my mind. So globally, it could be Amazon. I mean, Amazon has roots, branches in India as well. Apple, of course, we all know. BCG, JP Morgan, Google, Deloitte, Accenture, Morgan Stanley, Microsoft. So these are some of the top companies, global companies. Within India, TCS, Reliance Industries, Wipro, Infosys, ICICI. The list could be very long, but in interest of time, and obviously I can't put each and every company name over here. But these are some of the popular brand names of the companies which are known, and they do active hiring, year on year from good institutes. Top recruitment by specialization within finance. It is more of the banking and other sectors. Companies like Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, or McKinsey and Company, KPMG. These consultants. State Bank of India is a big recruit of finance. MBAs, HDFC, human resources. You will have Reliance, again KPMG, Deutsche Bank, L'Oreal, Make My Trip, Aditya Birla Group, and marketing. Most of these pharma giants, they would be looking out for an MBA. Medical device companies, advertising. Depending on the kind of specialization within marketing. And top recruitments sector-wise, government, SBI, ONGC, NTPC, MTNL, BSNL, within the private sector into manufacturing, no more so into an L&T, Aditya Birla, Apollo Tyres, Jindal Steel, Asian Paints, SR. I mean, the list would go on. Telecommunications, these days, mainly we have three, Jio, Airtel, Vodafone, FMCG companies, big recruits for marketing guys, Colgate Palmolive, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, Hindustan Unilever Limited, ITC, Nestle, Parle Agro. So all these, FMCG companies have a special affinity for MBA marketing. Digital marketing, which is gaining prominence these days, Flipkart, Myntra, Amazon's, Flipkart's, which I've already mentioned, GoDaddy or Paytm, Snapdeals, and consultancy-wise, mainly Deloitte's, Accenture, McKinsey and Company, TCS, and Infosys. So I've just segregated, your domain-wise, sector-wise, and global and Indian companies. So I mean, this is just for your information. There are, a lot of other companies who, take students from reputed institutes directly by placements, or even if you don't get through placements, then these are the companies which often look out for good people, right? Now, once you are done with your MBA, or even further, it's not that only after you have done your MBA, but later in your stage also. How do you prepare for your interviews? There are some do's and don'ts which you have to keep in mind. So if you're asked, these are some typical questions which come across when you go for an interview. If they tell you, tell me about yourself. So the company is not interested, or the people that, I was born in Baroda or Mumbai or, Bangalore, or, I like to scale on, mountains. I like walking on beaches. But, in a couple of minutes, you have to tell them why you're qualified. What is the value addition you can bring in for that company? Have some background about the company, ask them about the role, the job description, which you would be having firsthand. So, what are the skill sets required, and tell them, in a couple of minutes that this is the reason, I need to be hired. This is the thing which I can bring onto the table for the company. So, tell about that. So do that. Which is your what is your biggest weakness? So generally everybody has some. But don't give an answer that, nothing, I have no weaknesses, which nobody will believe in any case. But if you said something like this, that I don't delegate enough. Even when you are doing your projects, in groups, you might, wanted to do everything by yourself, because that gives you a sense that, this is the kind of knowledge which I have. But believe me, as you go forward, delegation is one of the biggest traits which a person at the senior level can have. So you have to realize that I get overly whelmed when I think I have to do it all myself. You don't have to do everything by yourself. Start delegating. So that could be probably a weakness, but you have to put it in a very nice way. Now, if you have any questions for us, if you are confronted with that kind of question, so take this as an opportunity. Don't say that I don't have any questions for you. You could probably tell them, can you walk me through a typical day? If you hired somebody in this role, let them do more of the talking. Yeah, I mean, you throw the ball in their court, or you could probably ask them, what else, any other clarity which you want me to make, so that you hiring me, it becomes much more easier for you. So try and prepare these kinds of answers. Some of these are more or less standard, which definitely will be asked when you go for an interview. This is a very motivational poster which I came across, and I really like that. Very simple mathematics. If you raise 2 by 2, 2 raised to 2 is how much? 4. 1 raised to 1 is how much? 1. So if you keep on doing that same thing, for 365 days, that is 1 year. So 1 raised to 1 raised to 1, if you keep on doing 1 raised to 365, what will it be? 1. But if you did 1% extra every day, for 365 days, that becomes 37.8. You can take your calculator, do this calculation for yourself and see, no, the answer is correct. So, no, you are 37.8 times better than what you are today. But if you did that 1% less extra every day for the next 365 days, where will you land? Just see for yourself, 0.03. You can calculate, I have no issues. I've done that calculation, it comes to the same thing. So the difference between going beyond what's required and doing less than what's required. But if you are satisfied with doing that same thing again and again, that is 1 raised to 1 raised to, for 1 raised to 365. If you have been, keep doing what you have always done, you will keep on being what you have always been. Nothing changes unless you make the change. All right. So start changing yourself today. All the best. Good luck and good wishes to all. Thank you so much. I'm done.
Thank you, Himang sir. And it was wonderful listening to you. I think, especially the semester one students who must be viewing you and your post on Facebook, definitely must have got all the ideas of what all specializations we are offering and what are the things that they are going to, expect from us and how much benefit they can take from doing this MBA course, and especially the pharma industry or the healthcare industry. Sir, very much specific to your domain, since you have served for more than 25 years in a healthcare industry. So, a piece of advice for our students, especially of those who are interested to take healthcare as a specialization, or those who have already opted for it. So, what is your piece of advice for them? How they can plan their,
Sure.
future in this
Yes.
area?
Right. So, healthcare is getting more prominence and more than ever before. In these days of COVID, especially, it is becoming very important. I mean, if you see as in the pharma industry, their business model has more or less remained stagnant all these years. It has been always a conventional business, generating prescriptions and all. But even in medical domain, a lot of things which you could bring up on the table, by artificial intelligence, for example, or 3D printing. Try to get some more information, and merge your skills with software skills, because that's the direction which the future will go. When I joined, there were only a couple of companies like Siemens, Wipro, L&T, which is of course now taken over by Scanray, Philips, and GE's. We were not aware of other domains or other companies. But as you go forward, there is integration of electronic health records. So try to get more of the current generation information. Different platforms, artificial intelligence, then virtual reality. How it could help a doctor. How could they explain it to the patients, or various kinds of consumers. So try and get more information on that. And yes, definitely it's a very good field, marketing of medical devices. You could be by different geography, learn some clinical words as well. If you have been there in biology, if you have taken up the subject earlier and then landed up into an MBA. So those things might help. It's not that it's compulsory to know biology. But as a subject, but later on, of course, you'll have to develop those skills. But yes, these are some areas.
Yes, yes. I mean,
AI in particular.
your okay, okay. Your profile also, it says that you are a engineering graduate. So I think that there is no stopping that having a medical background is very much required to be successful in this area. And thank you so much, sir. And let me just a few minutes. I'll just take a gist of all what you have shared. Though you have just covered everything from A to Z about MBA prospects, future prospects,
I
which a
try to.
student can okay, the skill sets and the especially the communication part of the interpersonal skill sets, verbal, non-verbal, which a student needs to keep start developing if they don't have, and the ethical values they need to have when nobody is watching them, and the attitude towards them, towards the organization, to show enthusiasm and commitment, and having leadership skills. So all these complete package will definitely help them be successful in this MBA professional and going ahead becoming the managers or the CEOs of the
You.
organizations. And the last quote was very interesting. Just 0.01% of extra efforts can altogether build up 37% of extra performance and productivity. That was a really good takeaway for
Thank
all
you.
those,
Thank you.
I think, viewers and participants. And with your permission, should we wrap up this session, sir?
Sure. Okay. And then I
So, on
have
behalf
my
of,
coordinates
yes,
on the presentation. And if any of the students wants to get in touch with me, I'll be more than happy to guide.
definitely. To all the participants and viewers, I have the contact details of Hemant sir, and definitely we'll be calling sir you again
Thank
for
you.
our
Thank you so much.
specialization sessions. And on behalf of
Privilege.
Parallel University, welcome sir. It's a pleasure is all ours, sir. And on behalf of Parallel University and Faculty of Management Studies, I want to thank you for sparing such
Thank
a
you.
wonderful session and taking all our students, especially the semester one students, taking them through the journey what they're going to have in coming 2 years. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you. Thank you once again.
And
Good day to all.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you, and have a nice day, sir. To all the participants and all the students, you can please resume back to your classes, and we are going to come up with a new interesting webinar on coming Saturday. Thank you so much,
Okay.
sir.
Bye bye. Thank you once again. Bye.
Good day, sir.
Good.